stage, silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life, there's nothing certain. Simply
You are tuned into 1100 WSGI, and this is Lee Marie in for U-Turn Laverne on One Street Over. I am so glad that you joined us today because it's going to be a special day today. I'm so excited for my guest, but before we go any further, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, you are so amazing. We are so grateful. Thank you for today. Thank you for all the people that you've put in our lives and all of the projects you've put in our lives. We're so excited. And we just want to ask for your hand on this show today. Take it where you want it to go. We love you. We praise you. We need you. Thank you for just having your hand on this. In the mighty name and the matchless name of Jesus. Amen. All right. Good morning, Carla.
Good morning.
And Carla, she is a first-time guest today, aren't you?
I am.
All right. So I brought in Carla because, let me see that paper real quick. Thank you. Over at Well in the Square, we are officially doing some really cool other classes other than fitness and dance, which fitness and dance are cool, of course, but I met Carla and I was so excited because she's got some amazing skills. As you can see, we've got some samples out here. And so we're going to be talking about a few of the different classes that are coming up and at Well in the Square. Matter of fact, the first one is in July. So it is the last Monday of July. And I believe that's the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look at the cheat sheet again. It's early. All right, I'm going to read this real quick, and then we're going to talk about it. So on the 28th, yes, Monday 28th, 10 a.m. to 11:30, this class is called Mending, Alterations, and Repurposing Clothing. This is a special one-day class. So you bring your clothing or whatever needs mending or alterations, and our professional sewing instructor. And you said you've been sewing since you were how old?
12.
12. Wow. All right. So she's got decades of experience. And so she's going to use some of the students' items to demonstrate mending as well as helping us each mend something. So you can bring stuff. There's no guarantee that everything will get mended, but you'll probably get at least one thing mended. It's 12 years and up, and you can RSVP by either texting or you can go into Crossroads Christian Bookstore, and you can pay an early bird price because the early bird price is only $20, guys, and that's just an amazing, amazing price. So $20 if you pay before July 24th, and then after July 24th, the price goes up to $25. All right, and you can message me on Facebook. I know a lot of you see my profile picture is just Lee Marie, so you can send your RSVP into there, and you can Venmo if you don't want to go into Crossroads, but Crossroads is such a lovely store. I'm sure you're going to want to go into there. So now I want to interview Carla. Now that I've told you guys about the class, so you've been sewing since you were 12, and I know you have a few sewing machines at home, huh?
I have a collection.
Collection. All right, and I know you've sewed a lot of different things, even dresses. Like you told me, you took 2 dresses and made them into one.
Right. Sometimes the cute ones are in the real small sizes. Or you get a good price on something. If you can get 2 of them, you can do things to it if you want to.
That is amazing. Well, yeah, and I love looking at I don't know, have you been in Cope yet, which is on Main Street? It's a thrift store, but it's really, really nice stuff. And it's a small one, so you don't have to get overwhelmed going into a big one. But I know oftentimes we'll see something that is, maybe just a little bit too long. Like, for instance, Stephen, my husband, is really excited about coming to this class, and we've got several things of his that I brought as examples. So, like for instance, this one is a beautiful, beautiful color, but it was only in a long. And Stephen and I, neither of us are long. So, anyways, you said no problem, we can hem that.
Right.
And then he's going to have a new favorite shirt. Okay. Speaking of favorite shirts, this is his favorite work shirt. And I know he thought that I was going to throw it away. I snuck it out of the house, but at the bottom needs some serious help. So all we have to do is trim off the bottom, and he's got his favorite work shirt back.
We're going to hem it. Right.
Hem it. That's it. Hem it. And same thing here. We got some deals on some work pants, but they're a little bit too long. No problem, right?
Right.
So, I mean, $20 for that class. I mean, that's one thing. If you go somewhere and you, want things, shortened or altered, a lot of times the price is more than what you paid for the item.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm really excited because for $20, he's going to have like 4 new pieces or, 4 pieces that he can wear. So what other types of things have you sewn in your life? Because like I know you said a lot of things.
Well, when I was 12, my mother put me in it was a free education class with adults. I was the only young person, but I learned how to read a pattern, learned how to cut out, and just some basic sewing skills. And I, from there, just loved it and got real involved and I started just making clothes for myself and things for my in my household. I was 12, doll stuff.
Oh my goodness!
But by the time I graduated from high school, I went to my prom and another prom, and I made both my dresses.
Are you serious?
I did, and
you made a prom dress.
I made a prom dress with a lace back in those days, but I just always loved it, and so I started looking at textiles differently too. So like as you start piecemealing things and taking things apart or redoing them, you start, like if you go to a thrift store or a vintage store, you can see things that you can make bags and you can make all kinds of things. Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know that we can make things out of. So it used to be people used every article of clothing. They wore them over and over. And, they even wax their clothes sometimes to keep it be waterproof and to last
Really?
a long time.
I did not know that.
That's a way to, you can iron wax into cloth. And there's all kinds of ways. So think about when people just had a few outfits and they made them last, or we used everything and we didn't throw everything away. We live in a society where so many things are just disposable, throw away, and I need immediately something else. So I find a great satisfaction in saving things and reusing things, making new things, and I just think it's really fun. So I know not everybody wants to take the time to fix things, but there are easy ways, and keeping a little sewing kit or a little mending kit, or you can go and start getting sweatshirts at the drugstore and making it into a jacket, and there's all kinds of ways to repurpose things into things you might need, like or if you have a special bag and you like bags like wide and shallow or something, you can find clothing and make that bag.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing the things you can do with pockets and all the things. So it's kind of a fun thing, and it gives you unique clothes, or it gives you unique items that or you could start a business. Like I think of a young person that starts things, and you might really really like a certain thing, and you can see I have a paper fetish too here. We got a bunch of journals on the table, but finding things that being creative, I think, is a very important part in the lifestyles we live. We get squelched of that and don't spend time finding the things that we really enjoy and can give back to enrich our lives and others' lives.
I love that. Well, I want to now go out shopping with you because,
right.
I love that idea of just like, oh, I like this pattern on this dress. This would be, cool as, pockets on something else, or that's fun.
When I was a teenager, so I went to a school where we wore skirts for a while, and then we had to wear pants, but they had to be a certain way. And I found this one pattern. It's no telling how many I made, but I knew exactly how much fabric. I knew what size zipper, blah, blah, blah. And I just made that same pattern over and over again, and it looked like different clothes.
Oh.
But sometimes you can find a skirt so skirts and basic, like you can make a basic wardrobe yourself and then find extra little tops and things to go with it. So a basic jacket, a basic skirt, a basic pair of pants. I mean, or how it's amazing what you can do, and you can sort of make it all match or be in color waves that it goes together. So one of my personal goals is to make my whole wardrobe someday. I haven't really done that, but I'd like to.
Well, no, and that gives me, some ideas because, especially, some of us maybe that are shorter than most people or
Hmm.
whatever. Like sometimes we find a skirt or something that like, okay, I know I look good in that, and I look good in that length, that style,
Hmm.
and that's the only one you can find. But
Right. Well, you can
now,
take. Well, you could actually make that your pattern or a pattern off of that garment.
oh, okay.
If you make a pattern off that garment, then you can continue to make things similar or the same thing over and over.
Oh, I love this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
there's
Ah,
yeah.
I'm really excited now.
So just basic freezer paper or parchment paper. There's different kinds of paper that comes in rolls, and you can make your own patterns off of that. You
Ah,
can actually not you don't have to deconstruct clothing to do it, but you can learn a basic sleeve or a basic pant or what off of the clothing that already fits you and you like, and
mhm.
you can make it be custom for your
Wow.
size and shape and all that.
Wow, I love this. I love this, man. So we're gonna have to do. I can already tell right now. We're gonna have to do a sewing series, regular series,
That
because
might be.
yeah, I'm just like my wheels are turning now. I took sewing in high school.
Hmm. Well, that was the days they had home ec. That a lot of those
Yes.
programs are being taken out, and so I know my last job, I worked with a lot of young people, and so cooking and sewing wasn't in their skill sets. They'd been getting an education in that, and those are basic things we all need to know how to
Mm-hmm.
do. Even a man should know how to do repair if he doesn't have a partner or female, or
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have anyone to fix things.
Mm-hmm.
So
No,
it's
that's
so
a great.
simple.
Yeah, we should do even just like an all man class. Maybe call that mending.
Men mending. That's
Yeah,
good.
so just like sewing on a button or ironing a shirt. Some simple things. I think that's a great idea.
They make patches that have adhesive already on them, and you can basically on the back side of your clothing put a little patch, and then you can do they have invisible thread. There's ways to do things you almost don't see it. So, and there's easy ways to make repairs that on things that you think can't be repaired.
I love this. So people should maybe even just kind of bring their stuff that they think that can't be
Right.
repaired because you can try to stump Miss Carla, but good luck.
No, it's easier than people think. It's just that things we haven't done don't seem, they
Right.
seem overwhelming or challenging. It's really uh, doing it.
Well, and like you said, today everybody's just like, oh, throw it out, get another
Hmm.
one on Amazon.
Yeah.
But when you said invisible thread,
Yeah.
I have one of those things that you like lay against a wall, the cushions that has the arm, it's for
Hmm.
reading, and the seam burst, and I'm just thinking invisible thread, right?
Absolutely. Or you could just get it for a seam. It's
Uh-huh.
already got a seam there, so it's really things that where there's not seams and it needs a repair. So invisible thread can be
Oh,
used as a repair to don't see things. That's what you think, but
okay.
there's all kinds of ways to do things. There's fabric glue. There's things you can do until you can fix your garment. I mean,
Mm,
it's just a
wow.
it's just a different way of looking at things.
So for this class on the 28th, can you bring some of those other examples, the
Yes, I
glue
will.
and all that,
Yes, yes,
just so people can kind of see, even
yeah,
though we probably won't be using it all, just
yes.
bring it all so people
Yep.
can just like start to get used to that. And then I know this is going to be a popular class. And matter of fact, I recently joined the Chamber of Commerce for Well in the Square. And so our chamber email went out yesterday morning. And right after I got done doing this show, I got in my car and I already had a text, somebody saying, I want to take that class.
Oh,
So yeah, she had just seen it on the chamber newsletter. And so
awesome.
pretty cool.
It is. And I know there's a lot of homeschoolers in this community. This is a great way for homeschoolers to launch, especially like I know there's a lot of 4-H classes in that will go into and buy vintage clothes and repurpose them, or it doesn't have to be vintage, just thrift clothes, and make them into things you can use.
Hmm.
And that's fun. I spent a whole wardrobe on, didn't cost me much.
Wow, that is so cool. And that's a good point that you said that the schools less and less are
I
teaching anything
know.
like this, and it's so sad.
Hmm.
I was having a conversation actually with somebody in the Springfield Guitar yesterday about how college is pushed so much, but oftentimes it's not needed. Like
Somebody's got to keep those home fires burning, don't we? Like we want to get a good meal when
exactly
we get home, and we want clothes that fit, and we feel good in. It's basic
right.
things. It's basic things are sort of sometimes left off if we don't seem so important.
Right. And this is just, and you don't need to just throw things out and just buy things new. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot better to repurpose them, and especially when they're perfectly good condition. They just need a little bit of altering or something. So
So
I'm excited. So is there any other advice for people coming to this class, just other than bringing some stuff or?
you might, I'm going to bring some patches and things like that, but if you have some severe type repairs,
Mhm.
you might look at something that's this exact color if that's going to matter. I mean, sometimes jeans, people like, plaids under the jean holes and different things. I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to bring a machine. I'm going to demonstrate some ways to fix things,
Okay.
and some things by hand, some things by adhesive until you can do a sewing machine repair or whatever's needed. Just some basic information and maybe how to make a sewing kit, a little sewing kit.
Okay.
So I'll have a handout or something like that that'll help you start accumulating those things. So you don't have to feel
Mm.
like you have to go right out and buy everything. There's some things, obviously, you have to have scissors and you have to have some thread and
Mhm.
needles, and those are all cheap
Mm.
things to be able
Mhm.
to. That's your start, and then you have to have things to measure, and so it builds and until you have a plethora of stuff.
Right. Well, and that just kind of made me think about something. When I was little, we used to make little pillows for Barbie,
Yeah,
and
right.
what we used for the stuffing was lint from the dryer.
Right.
But what we would do among our little few girls, and we were like 9, is we would trade little squares of
Yes.
fabric. And so I thought, maybe it'd be fun to do one trading class too.
Oh,
Or
that
maybe
was.
that's just part of it, where
Yeah.
like some of the, people who've been sewing forever or whatever, a lot of us or whatever have a lot of different things that are just either unfinished projects or things that could be repurposed as
Well,
just supplies, right?
so even journals can they're real effective with fabric. You can
Mm.
take a book like an old math book or some book and gut it, and you can put fabric on the outside and put all the pages on the inside, and that's pretty too. So there's ways of
Mm.
keeping fabric. So having a little stash,
Mhm.
I don't think hoarding is what it's called, but everybody that sews like me have a stash.
Right,
So,
right. Well, yeah, so that would be fun too. Have everybody bring some of their excess stuff and trade around. I'm sure that
mhm.
just happens naturally in some of these classes.
Well, and I have crafting friends, and when we get together, we give each other gifts, and it's usually homemade gifts. And the same thing, like whether it's making cards or making little bags. My family teases me my bags have bags because I like bags.
Ah.
Like little things all tucked and organized in your purse or
Uh-huh,
whatever, or your bag, or
uh-huh,
man can have a man bag, but
uh-huh.
having little gifts on hand they're already made in that. So when something comes up and you want to recognize somebody for whatever, you've
Mhm.
got some little gifts in that ready to go, and you don't have to go buy something right then. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's a great segue about the fabric to start talking about the other future classes that Carla will be teaching at Well in the Square, because she has these beautiful. Now, you call these book arts, right?
Well, I call it book arts, but
Book
it's
arts.
but
Oh my
it's a form
gosh.
of journaling. Like there's art journaling, there's journaling, prayer journaling. Like I'll show you this one. And this particular journal was given to me by one of my dear friends, or and I have filled it, but I've made things like this. But so sometimes you can write like white on black paper, and it's such a
Ah.
positive way. This is
Uh-huh.
actually a prayer type journal that's very personal, but
Ooh.
we all work through things, and so making these journals, you can actually write something that wouldn't want everybody to know, and you could put it in a little pocket,
Oh my
or you can
goodness.
make like these open up, and I write scriptures
Oh.
in there,
Oh
and they're just like
wow.
little tucks, and so this becomes, and what this particular journal is, it gives you a way of starting out like. I don't know if anybody saw that movie, The War Room. So this is kind of
Mm.
considered like a war binder, but you can make it anything you want it to be. That's any of these things. They're not really made for other people. They're made for you, and you can
Mm.
use them and reuse them. And
Mhm.
that's how and like this one, I still have, blank pages I'm working on.
Mhm.
And I just find it a treasure, and I write all over it. And I know what it says. I know about the secret place I want to dwell in and all the things. And
Ah.
so it becomes something that's a reminder of really gives you a lot of hope and encouragement.
I love that.
And I would like to share this one.
Mhm.
So this, I dated it. This is just a sketchbook. You usually
Okay.
can buy these for about $5 almost anywhere.
Okay.
At the Dollar Tree, you might be able to get them $3. Or, Goodwill, they're everywhere. They're just blank books like this.
Okay.
So when I first started this out, so 4/20/2020 was right before COVID, wasn't it?
Okay.
Or, in that time frame.
Right.
And so I just started pretty things I liked, and I always would start with a quote, and I would have a gratitude, and so it started out like that. And as time went on, I kept on. And I kept enhancing it. I started out with stamps, and then I started different things, trying different colors and things. But so the last entry, this was one of my grandchildren was with me that day, and she wanted to help journal in my journal. So gave her some paper, and then I cut it out and put it in here. But what this has meant to me now, so I had to put this. This actually went in storage. I had to move, and I had a last entry, and I just thought it was going to be a few months, and I would have kept it out. But anyway, this was in storage for a while, and so it really turned into several years.
Wow.
And I found it recently because I was going through that whole storage unit and everything. I got it back out and I started again. So there's certain things I like. I think of mountains as our challenges. Birds to me are sort of gratitudes.
Now, did you stamp those?
These are just little stamps.
Okay.
You find little rubber stamps, and sometimes like you can. I was at a thing this week, and they were quarter little stamps. There's a place in Clarksville that's a crafting store that has used stuff. Sometimes you can find stuff. Goodwill will have little bags of stamps. You can find things, or you can draw them. In all honesty, if you like a flourish, or you could like a mountain or a tree, you can learn to do. I sort of like lace. These are just personal things, but I always have lists of things I'm wanting to accomplish, things I'm working on. I always put a key to me represents sort of a key to the kingdom, or keys that give us really good thoughts, and a quote. And so, for instance, I was going to show you one like this quote here. I put, "Nothing is stronger than a small hope that never gives up," and that was actually let's see who it was. Oh, that was from a book, but I'll usually put if it's Albert Einstein or whoever the quote is. One I just recently, so I get these back out and I read them because it gives me, I know where I was and like where I am. So it's a moving forward. So I really like this type of journaling. Some people do art journaling, like try to just copy things. I mean, it's just for you. It's something that means it's very deeply to me. Like there was a quote I did this week that was on, it was Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, crawl. But just keep moving. And so I think certain types of things like that speak to you and your heart.
Yes.
So doing positive things in this kind of journaling stuff, and I just pick it up and just start. I don't pressure myself that I have to do it every day, but I wanted to share too, like cards. I think cards are so nice to have made ahead of time. It helps people. When you need a card, like maybe someone died suddenly. I have a friend who her only son died this week unexpectedly. So just being able to go and get a card, hey, I'm thinking about you, and you're in my thoughts and prayers. So having cards ahead of time, so then you don't feel the burden when you need one, you have to go make it and all that. But journaling can actually be envelopes. Like this is an envelope. So you can get
An envelope?
It's an envelope, and if you go to the Dollar Tree or the dollar store, a lot of times you can get 6 envelopes for $1 something.
So the outside of that book right there was an envelope. Oh,
It's
like
an envelope.
like
It's
a
an
manila
envelope.
one.
It's an envelope, and then you put pretty papers and things on it, and then you make a little pocket. So this one hasn't been written in, but see, like this little paper doily, like you make little envelopes.
Oh my goodness!
And,
You made that too.
Well, it's easy ways to use. So you can start saving little things like junk mail. Believe it or not, envelopes, like business size envelopes, you can take 6 envelopes, and the way you put them together, it can make a fold out journal, and then you just decorate it. I meant to bring one like that, but I give away a lot of my stuff, and I didn't have one to give you. But yesterday, this is an envelope. So I went to a friend of mine was having a little gathering. She took this envelope and she put shoe polish on it. And she made it kind of look like leather, but it's just a paper envelope, and she put shoe polish on it.
Beautiful.
And so then so the papers in it are, you can collect papers like grid papers you write with lines, or it can be just, we take copy paper and tea stain and coffee stain it. So if you open that, you'll see the crispness. It's got this vintage feel, and
I love it.
feeling that on different, so this particular, I like to pick a word each year, or maybe a phrase that just me, like one year it was abundance, one year it was flourish, or last year it was focusing on the good, this year it is beholding. And what I like about this journal, do you see on the front that she looks like she's thinking or reflective?
Right.
So I haven't finished this journal. I just started it yesterday, and I just actually put the papers in it and that. But now I'll continue adding to it. I don't have to be under pressure about it. I can just add. It's my beholding journal. And so I just find a lot of reinforcement, and just basic joy and satisfaction in making things. I know not everyone wants to be an artist or anything, but uh, our lifestyles today rob us of the time to actually spend quiet time and be reflective and plan. It just gives us a certain peace, and I feel like restoration, or maybe if I'm going through something difficult, it's a healing journey, isn't it? Maybe I'm just going to put one word every day that just gives me hope, or whatever it is. Or maybe I'm really trying to plan something big like that I want to do, journaling or papering like this. Or maybe it's just that you can take index cards literally and every day write on an index card, and then just put them in pockets in a paper journal like this. And so you could do a 30-day thing like that. So sometimes um, we're studying something, or if we go on a trip and we want to document the trip, or I wished I had known this when my children were young and I homeschooled, because all the things I used to say and all the things we did, I would have liked to have documented that. But now I've learned, and so I give them journals, and they're they may or may not use them, but these are so nice to give somebody as a gift.
I know, and they're just so, it's one of a kind. I absolutely love this. This is so pretty.
Well, and so the way she did it yesterday, she had like there was about, I don't know, there was under 15 of us, but she had just put some papers together, and we drew it, and mine was 8. I drew 8, and I got those papers, but that picture in those papers I got matched something I am going through with beholding. So beholding is a be still mode, isn't it? And so for myself, after I focused on the good last year and really tried real hard to not just look at the negative, focus on the good. So this year I'm beholding, and beholding is more of a be still and knowing, and sort of not being in such a hurry. If I don't know, don't go. Don't speak, or just be still. So that's where I'm at. We all go through different things that
Yes.
that help us. So anyway, it's just wanting to share this.
Awesome,
I
yeah.
do want to share this first journal. Do I have time to do that?
Yes, we at 7:30 we'll do a little break, and then but yeah, you got.
So this was I got invited by some friends to go to Lakeshore. It's a Methodist church camp down that I had never been there. It's on the river. Anyway, we went, and so we learned how to just fold 12 by 12 inch paper into, and so this is several 12 by 12 papers that made this whole book.
Oh my.
And so when you glue things on it, it becomes very stiff like a book. And so just being able to, like, we had little embellishments and little things. And so in the book, and if you go to the center of the book, so there's always a center, or they call, so little pages or signatures. Like this book here that I just was talking about, it has 2 signatures. So I don't know if you can see that. A signature is where you take papers, it might be 10 or 12, and just fold them over. And do you see how we made this? We kind of just put elastic thread in there. We made 2 elastic things. So this actually could be pulled out. So I could just take this right here, right now, and pull this out and replace it. Well, I glued that paper on there, put this back when I could. So you could, if you made a cover that you just really liked, you could literally make new papers and keep refilling them. So you see the different. I go get a dictionary at the Goodwill. I'll use all kinds of pages. And you can add pockets, we call them belly bands. You can add little corner things, and you tuck things. So when you're done, when this thing's done, it'll be real fat, and they call it a gator. So it'll be full of stuff, and that's what you kind of like, those gators.
Yeah.
If you looked out on Pinterest or Etsy, so people make these and sell them, and they'll sell them for like $100, and they're stocked full of all kinds of stuff. But you can do it out of just junk mail, literally junk mail and junky stuff. You can repurpose it. Like if I didn't like the picture on page, I could just there's a product called Gesso, and I can just put that on there, and it dries, and it's white.
Oh
and then I could just stamp and write on it in color. So you can repurpose papers. I mean, it's amazing. All your junk. So even I look at junk mail so different. So if they send you an envelope, save that envelope. And if you start just a little box, before long you'll have a whole ton of stuff to put on journals and stuff. Like there's all kinds of little things. If we went right now down to like Hobby Lobby or any of those places, they have stuff like a clearance section, and you can always go down there and find little pearlized things or ribbons, or you just start a little stash, and then before long you have plenty to make a journal.
Wow. This is going to be a super fun class. We're going to have to get this class on the agenda real soon.
It's just fun.
And then, perfect timing too, because y'all can make fabulous, unique Christmas gifts this year.
Well, and homeschoolers, I wish that we had done this more to document the projects we did. Like as a homeschooler, you want to have evidence of your learning and what you're doing. And So I think that making books or even taking old file folders and putting them together and just making projects. If I study, let's say I'm going to study Leonardo da Vinci, I could I could print stuff off. I could make an entire sort of a whole thing that
Ah,
I've made learning,
yeah, like
and
a
it's
report journal.
well, it is. It kind of is,
I
and
like
it's yeah,
that.
it's really, really.
That's a good idea. I'm thinking there's another class there.
Well, and I still do that. Like when I first met with Lee Marie, I was in the crossroads back there in the back, and the lady came out and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I'm the last student of the Helping Hands homeschool, and I haven't been able to graduate because I didn't pass geography." I was just kidding, but I still homeschool myself.
Well, yeah, we all should be homeschooling ourselves. Goodness.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I was so glad that you had stopped into Crossroads that day because
yeah,
otherwise I would not have met you. But it was a divine appointment all the way
I
around.
think so too.
And, I love when that kind of stuff happens because you're like, oh, Lord, you're just winking at me right now.
I
So
do
that's
want to
great.
show this one.
Uh-huh.
I've got a little granddaughter that's graduating,
Uh-huh.
and so this is just made out of basic just scrap papers. And I put a clip on it with a little elastic, and that's for a pen. Holds a pen, and I put a how lovely. She's lovely. She's
Aw.
16. But what this purpose of this little journal? You see all these different pages and how
Uh-huh.
different they are. So I'm going to put some stamps on them. You can stencil on them. There's ways to make them fancier. And I like lace, but this is for her to record for her senior year.
Oh,
Any special little I haven't given her birthday
so
was this month, so I'm getting ready to give it to
cool.
her.
Wow. That is
So
great.
go to the center of it, and I want you to see the center part. Go to the very center page. I always try to make something special in the center. It's got that little, like
Ah,
a little doily
wrap,
paper,
right?
the little doily paper.
Oh, oh my
You see how
goodness.
sweet that is? So the threads
Yes.
hanging down,
Yes.
I'm going to put some type of little charm or a little bead or something. You can hang little dangles or uh, that's another whole thing just to make little embellishments. Because if you make things ahead of time, like if I sat down and made a lot of these little tags, I call them tags or bookmarks. You can make them all different sizes. If you have that stuff kind of okay, I've got tags, I've got this, I've got that. It makes putting stuff like this together a lot easier.
Mm.
So that was a favorite. I love that, and this
Yeah.
actually it was a watercolor. So if you see this is actually I made a mistake on this, and this is how. So I just want to say that nothing is a mistake in art. You just reuse it.
Right.
I was doing this watercolor. It's a stamp, and I was watercoloring it, and I put well, I made a mistake on it. I did something I couldn't get off paint, and so I just turned it into a little journal.
Oh my goodness. This is so fun.
so
I want to go
I,
do this right now.
it is so fun. It is so fun, and you have useful items when you get done
Yeah.
playing with it.
All right, let me talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards real quick because they are an original sponsor of One Street Over and a loyal sponsor. So I do want to talk about them because if you have any real estate needs at all, you do not need to call a Nashville company that doesn't know Robertson County. Barry and Rebecca Richards have lived here for almost 30 years, so they know all the ins and outs about the county, and that's very valuable. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or someone ready to sell your home or farm, Barry and Rebecca Richards can help you. So you can see the latest listings and start your search today at sellwithbecky.com. That's sellwithbecky.com. Becky is spelled Becky. And that is Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Thank you for being sponsors of One Street Over. When you talk to them, make sure you tell them that One Street Over, WSGI, and Newton Laverne sent you. All right, we are in studio today with first-time guest Carla, and she has got some fabulous classes that are just going to blow you away. So right here at where we met, inside Crossroads, right? So well in the square, it has the same address as Crossroads, 600 South Main Street in Springfield, right across from the beautiful historic courthouse, and then kind of kitty corner. But we have a couple rooms there. We have a smaller room up front, and then we have a larger ballroom in the back. So, if you can't find us in one place, look in the other. I imagine our mending class will probably be up in the first room because there's a lot more light in there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easier for us to bring sewing machines right in that door and not have to do stairs. So, no stairs for this class. And this is going to be the last Monday of July, and that is going to be 10 to 11:30. So it's Monday, July 28th, 10 to 11:30. Early bird price is only $20. So make sure you get signed up because it will be capped off. We're not sure exactly what number. It's going to depend a little bit later on how many items are coming. But you want to get signed up early because we will need to cut it off at some point. So, but yeah, you're going to be able to mend stuff or put things together, or maybe you have something that is just material that you want to put pockets on something. Um,
Keepsake, like a keepsake from a family member that passed or something.
oh, yeah.
That's
Speaking
like
to the mic.
sometimes you have uh, like a grandfather passed, and so you save the shirts and you make a quilt out of it, or you make a memory thing.
Mm.
There's a way now today you can buy paper that that's cloth. I mean that will go through your copy machine, so you can take you can use your photos on your phone, and you can actually print it on fabric and make a memory. It can be a wall hanging, or it could be a little keepsake of some sort, or just clothing. Like a lot of people have T-shirts. T-shirt quilts are real easy to make, or journals. Like you can make a keepsake about that family member.
What a great idea. Because, yeah, some of us, have had people that have passed recently, and, you have some of their clothing. You're like, oh, this has such a great memory. I don't want to get rid of it, but I can't wear it. It's not
Right.
my size or whatever. But yeah, you could use a part of that
Or just
material.
patches, little 5x5s or something. There's just all kinds of ways to make things that are useful and are memorable. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. Oh, how exciting. So, that is the first class that Carla will be doing at Well in the Square. But she also is going to be doing book art classes. And as you guys saw today, this is how she makes journals just out of, so you can start saving, things that could be helpful for that class. And that will probably be the next class because I know after this show, we're going to get a lot of people saying, okay, I want to sign up for that class. So, we're going to have to get that on the books. Now, you homeschooled for quite a long time, right?
I did.
How many children did you homeschool?
I had 5 children, and I had 5 children in a 7-year span. So I had a set of twins. So my first child was 2, and then I had twins, and then Zachary and Anna came along like 3 years later, and then Anna. So I didn't plan life that way, but that's how it was. And I didn't even know about homeschooling until I went and watched. I listened and saw some families and listened to some discussions about it, and I asked my husband about it, and we decided we'd try it. And he said, well, if they're not learning, we're gonna put them in school. So anyway, we had a farm, and it was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life to not be in a rush, to be anywhere, and we had routines. My children, we had animals, so they had outside work first in the mornings, but we'd always sing, and we'd start out reading, and then I learned a lot about how children learn and how we retain information and how but anyway, my first oldest child did not go to school until she was in ninth grade. And we had a business, and the business closed. And so life happens to all of us, doesn't it? And so but for those years, we homeschooled up until she was in ninth grade. But it was, and now I see, so it's made us very entrepreneur. I see that a lot of times children that are homeschooled, they have sort of a confidence in their self, and they're a little more grounded, although the world criticizes and thinks that you're not socialized if you homeschool. But homeschooling was a really good thing. And it was back when we did it, which my oldest child is now 40. So it was
Oh.
kind of very dissonant. Nowadays it's really acceptable. There's lots of curriculum, lots of things. Um, but I really attribute my knowledge and that to something called the Moore Foundation. They've passed away now, but they were college level teachers that did a lot of research about how children learn, how people retain information. So uh, I've always had an interest in volunteering for people that have reading comprehension issues. So many young people today get pushed through school, they graduate, and they still are having struggles with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that even adults, if I read things and I don't retain it, it's a real handicap in the world. So I think that's important. And all mine, I used a real simple method on teaching. Although my son, it was interesting. He was he had sort of selective memory like some kids do. And if he was interested in it, he could knew all the details of all the calves and all the cows. But like phonograms weren't a positive, but he's an excellent reader now. He's a big reader. He reads a lot of books, and he'll read, so it's interesting how people learn,
Mm-hmm.
and each of your children are different, and you have to kind of figure out what, there's tactile learners, there's visual learners, there's auditory learners, and even myself. I was a product of a certain type of education. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I tease that I had to go back and learn things that I didn't learn
Mm-hmm.
because of the way I was in school and all that. But
Well, I know you have a wonderful history of learning all of that, and I remember talking about possibly having you do a class like learning to learn, right?
right. I mean, it's such a, and if you're doing multiple ages, that that's sometimes hard to do, but everybody can do where they are, what they are,
Mm-hmm.
and there are ways to do that. I tried a lot of things. I've done a whole lot of things, and I did find things that were very effective
Mm.
in helping and getting children to be independent learners.
Well, and that would be such like you said, back when you were doing it, like I've heard like Nancy from, Crossroads,
Hmm.
she has homeschooled too. And like a lot of times I'll hear people say, well, I homeschooled before it was cool,
Yeah,
like,
you were like a dissident of the
right.
government or something if you were
Yeah.
homeschooling.
And
But
now it's like you just see it happening more and more and more. And it's almost, abnormal. Like you're not homeschooling, like, but anyway, I know that there's a lot of people that are moving to Tennessee. And because watch stuff on Facebook and like they'll say, well, I want to try
hmm
homeschooling for the first
hmm
time. So I know there's a lot of first time families out there that I think that your knowledge of how to teach them how to, learn would be very helpful.
Well, I appreciate the bookstore Crossroads. They've always had new and used homeschool products, and so when you get started, it can be overwhelming to have to buy all these brand new things.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to buy maybe some things new and some things used is a really good way to get started
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And doing unit studies.
A little bit closer to you. There you go.
Okay, okay.
Well, and another thing that I watched the other day is some of the moms were coming in with boxes to trade back in.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that she also takes
Right.
in stuff to,
And
and then you get credit
right.
for.
And they provide a service that's very unique. You can't find that everywhere. I don't think there's anything like that in Clarksville where I live. And there's a lot of homeschoolers there. And so, organizing those kind of things are really, I appreciate that bookstore. And that's how I met Marie here,
Mm-hmm.
is being in that bookstore. I've always, when I'm up this way, I go to the bookstore there.
Mm-hmm.
I like to find.
Well, that's a good point you had that a lot of people may not know that they have these services. So I think maybe we should also have like a homeschool day, in that big room and maybe in the small room too. Just like because I know they have them in some of the big, homeschool expos where, there's new and used and all that, people can bring stuff. But, maybe we should just do one over at Crossroads because it'd be a great way to show people where we are and show Crossroads
Right.
too.
And I don't know, I'm not even familiar. You know more, I'm sure, about the homeschoolers here. Like sometimes they're like homeschoolers, parents that might have special abilities. They might like teach
Mm.
make out a bug out bag, or
Mhm.
something like boys like that, bug out bags. Like that's how, if you had to get up and leave, you got something there to carry with you. But
Mhm.
there's all kinds of sometimes sharing responsibility.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's plan that too.
I think you're a homeschooler. Yeah. You hadn't finished school either. No.
I didn't have any children, but yeah, I do appreciate learning, and I just it is a really nice homeschool community here.
hmm
I
The,
do.
the library is awesome.
Oh, the library,
It
yes,
is. They have so many good things for free.
right, right, yeah. If you haven't gone over to Stokes Brown Public Library yet, guys, you really need to. And Rose Wooten is just doing an amazing job with all of her different things. We have 15 minutes left. Oh my goodness, that's nothing. So, is there any other? Okay, so I know we're going to do the mending class on Monday, July 28th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And it's still in the summer, so your kids can come. So it's 12 and up.
Mm-hmm.
And but some of the other classes are going to be after school starts. So you probably want to get in on this one. And then we're going to do some book arts. We're going to do journaling and card making. What other type of book arts?
Um,
would you-
like book arts would be, well, like projects or like travel. Like if anybody's taking trips or traveling, a travel journal is awful fun to make,
Mm.
or something you're interested in.
Mhm.
And I also, if anyone out there has some ideas of things that they would like, that would be a good thing to let Lee Marie know. Like if there's interest or needs for certain types of. I mean, in my personal life, I've been a nurse all my life, and I have had a lot of work with special needs children.
Mhm.
And so, like nowadays, we hear a lot of people are on the spectrum, and there's just all kinds of things that I think of that possibly we could, you know, help each
This
other.
is a travel journal, isn't it?
Well, it's a camper journal.
Camper
I have a
journal.
camper. I have a
Oh, I love
camper.
this.
I have a camper now, and I would
Do
have.
you?
I do have a camper down on the down near Paris Landing. But I would have loved it when my children, we just tent camp. That's all we could afford back then. But I have a camper now. And these are downloads, so I don't want anybody thinking this is all just me. These downloads are on Etsy and Pinterest, and they're just a few dollars, and you have a forever download that you can just print and print and print. And the type of printer I'd like to plug in here for anybody that's a crafter is Epson, the tank, because you can make literally thousands and thousands of copies on just those bottles. It's a game changer, life changer for any crafter.
Okay.
It's an Epson printer that is
And
with
the tank that's the model or
you put
whatever?
the little bottles, and you want to use that. They're kind of so literally don't have to refill it sometimes for 2 years, and you can get thousands of. It's incredible, and so these kinds of on the covers and stuff, those are all downloads that you can just print off, or you can just take books. You can go and find all kinds of things that you like and deconstruct them and use them or make copies of them. Or I was recently doing a whole thing on I don't know if you've heard of Edith Holden. She was a nature illustrator, and so I've been collecting some of her books and her things, and I will cut up some of them and make because it was like a year in her life, and she lived in it's called The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. So if anybody, most crafters out there know about these books, they've become harder and harder to get a hold of. We are cutting them up sometimes. So I usually keep, if I have a book I love, I keep one that's a keepsake, but then I might cut one up and make a journal out of it.
All right. Well, we are having some comments on Facebook. Debbie Orndorff said, fantastic ideas. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation points after
Well,
that.
there you go. Well, thank you so much.
And Debbie is a master crafter herself.
Oh,
so
Debbie.
I'm excited. Yes. And let's see. Good morning from Robin Spence. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Paul Rainey. All right. Yep. Lots of people are watching. You guys, please share this show. Go on Messenger, send it to your friends, or you know what? You can share it and then send it in a text because they'll even see it more. Because some people don't look on Messenger, but please get this word out because these are just such fun projects. I'm really excited. We should also do a crafting retreat.
I know. We've been talking about that. Like we got the perfect place, don't we?
Yes, we do. We went and looked at Coldstream Camp. When was that? A couple months ago now, huh?
It was, yeah.
And we found some perfect areas for that. So I think we definitely need that in Robertson County. I don't know why that went off, but it might be good because actually
It looks like you see it a little better.
yes, you can see this artwork better now. The big bright light went out, so I'm going to take that advantage here. I love this this camper journal, and look at how cute this page is with fish on it. Stephen, my husband loves it.
I don't know if you want to show a page out here. I don't think
yes,
it's going to
yes.
be enough to read anything, but just to see how to journal. Like I love this type of journaling, and it's so easy. You don't have to be terribly. You can just write in your writing. It doesn't matter. It's not but just showing how you can make a journal that
Get this here. So she's just got, you can see that.
out of a sketch pad.
There you go, Sketchpad journal. So there's little stamp pictures on the top, and then she just will put like either a scripture or just a little quote from someone that meant a lot to her. That is such a great idea because sometimes we do just need to put stuff on paper. It's just so therapeutic.
Even a traumatic event, something I'm working through that I can't let go of. You know how we have that play that reel over and over.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes if you just write down something, maybe someone was very unkind to you and that you just have a hard time getting over that. Write that down. You put it in a little envelope. You don't have to let anybody else read it. But sometimes it's like filing our thoughts, our negative thoughts, or our things that we just want to really are trying to let go of. So you don't carry that around. Or somebody told me I was fat when I was 12 and I'm still carrying that around,
Right, right. No, and that's a great segue actually for me to tell you about a couple of these other classes that are happening that same day, which is July 28th. So that day, we're going to start it, of course, with the alterations and repurposing class with Carla. But then at 6 p.m., Power of Your Words. And so this is, let's see here, let me read the description. Do you need some things to change in your life? You've been given an incredible tool, your words. Come learn how your words affect your life and how you can change your world by the power of your words. And it's taught by Shannon Bumgardner of Wellspring Ministries. And she has a wonderful ministries here, she and her husband, John. And so, again, this is so powerful. And, all the ladies on this page here are Christians that are teaching these. And That is going to be Monday, July 28th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you might need to hang out that
I
whole
will.
day.
I definitely
And
will.
then after that, oh, and by the way, if you register before July 24th for Shannon's class, it's free.
Mm.
So make sure you do that. And then also a
How do you
new
do that, Lee?
teacher.
How do you register for
So
it?
they can text Shannon at 615-533-4587. Thank you for asking. Yes, so to register for Power of Your Words, you want to text 615-533-4587. If you don't have a pen and you're driving, you can look up Wellspring Ministries of Springfield, or you can always shoot me a text because I can forward it over to her or a message on Messenger. Okay, so after that, so that's 6 to 7 on that Monday night, but then 7 to 8, your mental health, how to take care of it. Again, this is also a special one-day class, and it says, learn what you can do right now to improve your mental and emotional well-being. And this is taught by Rhonda Rastelli. Now, you're going to know what these initials are since you're a nurse. APRN, PMHNP-BC.
So the APRN is like a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then PMHNP.
And that's several things. PMHP.
PMHNP. I need to write those down,
I'm not
Rhonda,
sure.
so I can
Yeah, I'm not,
tell them
that one's
next time.
several. That one's several things. I think
Okay.
put all run together.
And if you want to register for that class, again, it is free if you register by July 24th. And you can do that by texting another different number, 615-266-3024. Again, Rhonda Rastelli, and that is 615-266-3024. She is married to Gary Rastelli from Ridgetop Mower of Springfield, and we've had both of them on. Last month we had both of them on. Rhonda was talking about all the mental health things, but then Gary was on talking about the mowing business and all the services that his place does for repairing mowers and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, they're great people from our community. And again, both of these two classes at night are free if you register by July 24th. After that, they're $10. So they want to make sure they have enough materials for everyone and chairs and all that. So please register for those. I know somebody already registered for the mental health one yesterday. So at our dance class. Matter of fact, I do need to also mention what else is going there because today's Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Which means Cindy Norton does her band class. And that's not band like trumpets. It's band like stretchy exercise bands. So the first class is free if you just want to try it out. But after that, once you pay, you do get your own bag, a carry bag, and then a smaller bag of all the different color bands because they're all different strengths. And I love that because the other day I was gardening and I was moving stuff and I was so sore the next day. I was like, I don't even know if I can go to Cindy's class. But I went and I just used green because green's like the lowest, right? So it's great. So anyway, Cindy's total body fitness class for all levels is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30, so just a half hour. And then also Tuesday nights.
$5. I mean,
Yes,
you can't beat that.
$5. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, right.
And then Tuesday nights, starting next Tuesday, 6:15 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. And again, all these classes are only $5 for her fitness classes. And then I am still doing line dancing over there, line dance for fun, fitness, and friends. So if you need any of those, come on out. Lots of friendships being made right there. And those classes are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 to 11:30. And then Tuesday nights, 5:30 to 6. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my class follows Cindy. But on Tuesday nights, my class is before Cindy. So you can get a full hour of workout by, coming to both of them. So, we both use uplifting songs and it's just a lot of fun. And it is true, guys, move it or lose it, right? Unfortunately, that is true. So, but it's so good for you. And, you talk to any therapist or any, any advice, right, on anxiety or depression. What do they tell you? Make sure you're going out and moving for at least half hour a day, at least.
It's a huge fall risk prevention.
That's right. That's right. And Cindy is teaching a lot of balance.
It's good.
Which,
makes you feel like your posture improves. I've noticed a difference.
Very cool. And for those of you that, like you say, like, well, I'm really just kind of finally getting up out of the chair and I'm very stiff. Well, you know what? If you can't stand for a long period of time, she had a person last month that did the whole exercise sitting. So, like you said, you got to start somewhere. Right. If you can't run.
If you can't fly, run. You can't run.
If you can't stand, sit and just do these. Because, like, we do these things, like with these bands behind her. And I know I need those. So come on out. We have a lot of fun. Again, that's at Well in the Square, which is right next to Crossroads Christian Bookstore, 600 South Main Street in Springfield. I know I was posting about the classes, and Susan Hunter, who does not live in the county, said, "Oh man, another reason why I wish I lived in Springfield." So Susan, you should just come and hang out, especially like, on some of these days where we got a bunch of the classes. Just come on out, have fun. We'll do lunch or dinner in between, right? And just make our own little retreat out of it. I know we're going to have a lot of new friendships here in Robertson County because of these classes, because they're all so positive and fun, and just a great group of ladies. Well, we have 4 minutes left, Miss Carla.
Well, the only thing that I can think of is I think it'd be nice if women are interested in a retreat of any kind. I think that would be something they could contact you about, because that's
Yes.
something we keep talking about.
Uh-huh.
And if there's interest, if there's not, then it's later.
Oh, I love that idea, ladies. So, yes, if you are interested in being on the ground level for this ladies retreat that we're going to be doing, by all means, private message me, because I know the one thing that we went and looked at Potter's House, I
Yes.
think that fit like 15 to 20 ladies. And
Hmm.
so if you want to be one of the ones that gets, the good bedroom or something, you better first come, first serve, right?
Right.
Because I know like the last 5, there's cots.
So it'll be like mental, spiritual food, and we'll make a craft too.
Yes.
So it's a great place to take walks, and it's on a waterway.
Yes.
It's very very restorative.
Mm-hmm. And then that one, so Potter's House was that bigger one. And then I forget what the name of that other one was. Do you remember that was on the water? Because that was
Oh
actually,
yeah, I know the other little.
it was like on the lake. And
Yes.
so I thought it'd be cool is if we did get both of those, then we could do like the welcoming reception or welcoming lunch, whatever time we have it. We could have it just out on the water. That'd be cool. Yeah, guys, if you haven't been over to Coldstream yet, you got to go check it out. All right, we got 2 minutes left, Miss Carla.
Okay.
So anything else that the Lord has put on your heart? If not, I'll just recap.
No, I just I let everyone call you. It's really feedback. Like if you're interested in things or you want something, please let Lee Marie know.
All right. So I do want to tell you guys tomorrow is pray for TN. So tomorrow is Friday, July 18th. And so this is the second annual, and this will be at 8 a.m. on the stairs of the historic courthouse. So make sure you guys get over to that. It is in Springfield. It's just probably about a half hour, 8 to 8:30. And we want to do this. This Pray for TN is something that all 95 counties in Tennessee are doing. The governor has called July a month for prayer, fasting, and repentance. So we want to make sure we're doing that. And so if you are listening right now and you're not from Robertson County, you can go on prayfortn.us. There's a map of Tennessee, and it shows every county and the date that your county is doing something. So it's all throughout July. And so tomorrow, though, in Robertson County is ours. So I hope you guys will show up for that. Also, there's a cool wellness expo that Deborah Grant is putting on, and that is going to be August 9th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so this is going to be great. We had Deborah Grant on yesterday. I don't know if you've met Deborah yet, maybe not. Anyways, we had her on yesterday. It was very encouraging, just reminding us to hydrate and, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to her wellness expo. It's going to be held at Purpose Life Church. Okay, 805 Memorial Boulevard in Springfield. And that's really easy to find. And if you need more information, you can contact Deborah. And you can either stop by UPS and see Deborah, or you can text her at 859-414-4576. Again, that's 859-414-4576. And that is a wellness expo happening 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on August 9th. I believe that's a Saturday. Yeah, that's a Saturday. So lots of stuff coming up here in Robertson County, guys. I did go over a whole bunch yesterday on the Go Show, because every Wednesday, half of the Go Show time is calendar items. So if you missed that, please go on the WSGI page and find that video. I also posted it on my video. And we also had the rodeo guys on yesterday, because rodeo's coming to town, not this weekend, but next weekend. So super fun. Lots of great family stuff coming up. All right, Miss Carla, how was it? Was it fun? Oh, wait, let me turn your
So
microphone
much.
back on.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, I'm
Lee
so
Marie.
glad you were able to make it. And thanks for coming from Clarksville. I know to get here at 7 in the morning coming from Clarksville is probably not a pretty sight.
I might have should have taken more back roads, but it's good. I got here.
Was there a lot of traffic?
A lot of traffic. A lot
Yeah.
of traffic on the interstate. A lot of traffic in Clarksville. Clarksville's, kind kind of busting.
Yeah, it's
with people.
booming.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last time I drove through this one neighborhood, I was like, oh my gosh, there was like so many more houses. Like, how did they get them up so fast?
I don't know, and they're doing road construction, making more lanes, and it's just a lot of pylons everywhere. It's just hard to navigate a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I've made it, and I'm thankful. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well,
I've
thank you
enjoyed
so much. Are you going to be able to stay in town for Cindy's 10 o'clock class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, guys. So you can come meet Carla if you want today in Cindy's class. We have so much fun. So, yeah, so Cindy's class starts at 10 o'clock, and it's free for your first one, or $5 if you want to jump in full both feet. All right, guys, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for bringing Carla to our community. What a blessing she is already. I love all this stuff, and I'm so excited for these classes. Thank you for today, Lord. Please just put the people in our path that you need us to talk to, and just guide us, please. We love you and praise you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right. I'll be back tomorrow, guys. You have been listening to 1100 WSGI. This has been Lee Marie with